So some time has gone by since we've been talking about the PS6 leaks, and more detail has come out. PS6 Orion codename and PS6 Handheld came as we talked about what that meant in the other video. If you want to go check that out, go check that out in the other video. I would greatly appreciate it. But all this information is coming from Moore's Law is Dead. So if you want more detail of what he talked about when it came to the PS6 codename Orion, go check him out. But these are just going to be little bullet points of what is going to be in the PlayStation 6 and what their strategy is. Release date. Manufacturing is rumored to start in mid-2027 with a release window of late 2027 or early 2028. I'm guessing it's going to be 2028 given what we're going to talk about in this bullet point. Design and technology will reportedly use a chiplet design, potentially utilizing Navi 5's desktop chiplets, built on a 3nm process similar to the PS6 Handheld and the Xbox Magnus. The design goal is a low-cost, high-volume system similar to the PS4 strategy. We'll talk about why that's a lot more relevant towards the end of the video. Performance and specifications. CPUs 8 Zen 6 or later cores, GPU 40 to 48 RDNA5 compute units, CUs clocked at 3 GHz. Memory 160-bit or 192-bit bus with GDDR7 memory running at 32 GTs/S+. Power supply, a total board power of 160 watts is mentioned. Performance estimations is to have 3 times the restoration of a PS5 with even a greater improvement in ray tracing. The ray tracing performance is speculated to be 5 to 10 times that of the base PS5. Other details, backwards compatibility is expected for the PS5 and PS4. I said rasterization kind of weird back there, but it's rasterization. I don't know why I said it like I have like an accent. Other details, backwards compatibility is expected for the PS5 and PS4 games. And I'm speculating, and Moore's Law speculating, probably PS3 games as well. The reason why I think that this is going to come out in 2028 is because, or early 2028, is because they want a lot of performance and they kind of want a beefy console for at least $499. And that's the price point I think that they're trying to hit. $499, and keep in mind that all this, and Moore's Law, as Zed mentioned this too, this is the power of a 580 with a CPU attached to it. At some points even being stronger than the 580 and doing things that are better than the 580. Probably closer to the 580 Ti, given because there's probably going to be a lot more GDDR7 RAM into the GPU itself, so it's probably going to be just as strong as a 580 Ti. So if you want that much performance on 160 watts, it's going to come out in 2028, early 2028. And I'm really glad that they're focusing on more having something cheaper for the consumers, because of the fact that, like, one of the things that they've noticed and that will blow your mind is that half of the revenue that PlayStation is making right now is only on the PS5. By this point, it was like 60 to 70% of the revenue was the PS4, but the PS4 was such a steal and was such good value in one system that people bought it like crazy, especially during the time that we are right now in the middle of the generation. By this point, consoles usually are $299, or at some points even on Black Friday $199, or Cyber Monday at $199. But because of all the technology they crammed into it, and kind of making the exact same mistake that they made with the PS3, which was not expecting who was going to be in office, and also not predicting that there was going to be a pandemic coming, which nobody really predicted that the end of the world was happening. So chips became a lot more expensive, especially for consoles, because consoles don't really have the embargo leniency that GPUs get and computer parts get, but we don't really get that for consoles. So you have PlayStation trying to figure out how to make this thing console with a lot more affordable, and also for them not to break the bank while doing it. So much so that the console had to go up in price, which is insane for the middle of the generation. People were joking at that point that they bought the console at the cheapest price when it first came out, which is mind-blowing. That has never happened before in console in the generations that since I've been playing, which is since like the PS1. It's insane. So I'm glad that they're focusing on something more affordable, because the PS4 came out on the tail end of a economic collapse after the George W. Bush era, which made it to where it was affordable to everybody. It's like, oh, let's spend money on something that's affordable, and we're just getting out of something that was kind of bad for everybody. And then with the PS6, if they do that because of the administration that is in there, with the economy not growing as much as it should be, and economists kind of red flagging that more than likely there's going to be an economic collapse, they don't know whether or not they're going to be on the tail end of that or right in the middle of that. So having a more affordable console, especially when it comes to manufacturing it and chips and all that stuff, makes you ready for either side. Either way, you win. So this is a great strategy for us, like the consumer, which I care about the most, and a great strategy for PlayStation in order for them to lower the price for us. So it's a win-win for everybody. I don't know why, but I have a soft spot to me when it comes to handhelds, and PS6 Canis is exactly what I've been waiting for since the PlayStation Vita. Rest in peace, PlayStation Vita. For I love that console so much, even though I broke it like almost right away when it came out. Release date is expected to release in the same time frame as the home console, late 2027 or early 2028. Design and technology features a monolithic 3nm die like the PS6. Positioned as a competitor to the Nintendo Switch 2, Sony's goal is a cheaper S console with a speculated price below $350. I'm gonna guess PlayStation is gonna try to push this to $299. I think that they're gonna push it, and we'll get into why towards the end of these specs. Features include a micro SD slot, a M.2 SSD slot, haptic vibration, dual microphones, and a touchscreen. I'm glad they got rid of that stupid back touch that they had on the PlayStation Vita that made it more expensive for no reason whatsoever, that I kind of liked and was kind of trying to justify in the past. Don't judge me, so. This is an important part of the video. The USB-C port is said to have a video out capabilities. So the reason why I think it's going to be $299 is because of the upcoming performance and specifications that are coming up. CPU 4 Zen 6 Z cores, GPU 12 to 20 RDNA5 compute units clocked at 1.6 GHz, memory 128-bit bus with LPDDR5X 7500 memory. Power, the power supply is 15 watts, around there. Performance is estimated to be around 0.5 times the rasterization performance of the PS5 with a higher ray tracing performance. Other details, backwards compatibility is also expected for the PS5 and PS4. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these things that we're mentioning can either go away, like they could either just say, hey, we don't want to put this in the handheld, or we don't want to put this in the PlayStation 6. So a lot of these are subject to change. They could even increase the power that's going to be in this, which I highly doubt it, unless it's more VRAM or more RAM in general. I hardly doubt that that's going to happen. The reason why I think, with all the specifications that we read, and the most important one that I said, the USB-C port is set to have video out capabilities. And the reason why I believe that they're trying to hit $299 and like they're trying to get below the price of $350 is because everything the PS6 can play is more than likely going to be able to be played on the PS6 handheld. And the reason being is because it's going to have the same architecture, and you can do exactly what you do on PC. It's just lower the specifications of what you are playing in the game to make it a lower quality looking game, but it's still the same game, and it's still passable with the upscaling ability that it's going to have, and also a lot of the FSSR, which they're calling PSSR for right now. And PlayStation has been working with AMD to bring a new upscaling technology similar to what DLSS does with their ray tracing and their 4K upscaling, which is insane. It's got some work to do, but it's going pretty far. I just hope that they don't jump all the way into it. They're trying to get those PS4 people to get to the PlayStation 6 and PlayStation 6 handheld so bad, and I think that the PS6 handheld is more than likely going to be a home console that people don't want to break the bank right away to get a PS6 that's more than likely going to be $499 versus a console that's probably going to be around $299 or $350. And on top of that, having backwards capabilities and also having ray tracing themselves inside of that little box is going to be awesome. I love the idea of being able to get a PS6 handheld, and let's say you buy a game in your digital store, you can play it on the go, and also when you get home, you can play it on the PS6 if you have it, or if not, you can connect that onto a dock and play it directly onto your TV and not needing to hassle at all. Flexibility and affordability seems to be the thing that PlayStation is trying to do with this next console, and I'm really looking forward to it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Is the one last thing with the whole like console wars thing. I've been seeing a lot of people who are like, "Oh, is PlayStation gonna be competing with Xbox or the Switch?" The truth is, there is gonna be direct competition from the PlayStation 6 portable, with the Switch, considering it's probably gonna be cheaper, which makes it a direct competitor. But at the same time, I don't think these companies are competing with each other anymore. The Nintendo Switch is doing their own thing with their handheld, and even if PlayStation does really good, the handheld market is always going to be dominated by Nintendo unless they screw up really bad, which they pretty much can because their fans are pretty dedicated. They're pretty dedicated to Nintendo and buy anything that they put out there, even if it's $80. Xbox is going into a direction of where they want to be more of a feature in PC and put a sticker on certain things instead of making like custom chips that you can play, like the way PlayStation is doing, like the way the Nintendo Switch is doing. I think that they're now noticing that the Steam is a direct competitor to Windows, and especially when it comes to gaming. And the majority of the people that use Windows, let's just be real, play games on it. And if the Steam OS is doing better than your Windows OS, that brings direct competition towards you. So I think they're going to try to focus on optimization for Windows and also having Xbox Game Pass just be everywhere, which is fair. It's going to make them a lot of money. But as far as console wars, nobody's competing with everybody anymore, or with anybody anymore, I should say. This is probably the end of console wars, where you're going to see these companies go head to head. The only way they're going head to head is pricing, which is good for us, but at the same time, it's like, thank God that era is gone. Now YouTubers at console war can actually cover the news and know what they're talking about instead of just making people rage bait. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think that the PS6 handheld is going to be $299? How much do you think the PS6 is going to be? Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you got all the way through, let me know the price that you think these consoles are going to be. And remember, you're pretty good.